All right, so this video is a little late. Just know this is my second time recording this video because the first one was unfortunately blurry. But we're gonna get into how I did in April when it comes to my budget. I'm very big on going back and analyzing your budget. I typically do it twice a month. I will do it in the middle of the month before I get paid again to see where I currently stand and if I need to make any adjustments, and then I do it at the end of the month. On here, I'm just gonna kind of talk about what happened in the month of April as a whole when it came to my numbers. And if you're new here, I'm Elena of Financialdemics. On here, we talk all about budgeting, paying off debt, savings, and even increasing your income. And so let's get into this budget for April, how I did, what adjustments I needed to make, all the stuff, because April was a little crazy. All right, so I'm gonna just have like screenshots or video or something pop up for what is happening in April so you can see pictures of my budget. But originally I budgeted for $3,600. I have a starting balance because I would like to keep my husband's information and additional information private. So we have a starting balance that we start with, and it was $3,600 for the month. This is just covering my bills and just my spending that I wanted to make sure was taken care of. Okay, so that was the starting balance, and then savings is savings and some investing. So I budgeted for $360 to go there. So let's talk about these bills. We're gonna make it a little bit bigger here. All right, so my portion of the rent, I budgeted for $1,466. It was $1,465.66. I always budget a little bit higher than the amount just to keep it a little bit easier for the most part. Some bills I've had for so many years that I just put the exact amount, but rent is one of those bills. For USAA, I budgeted $161.14, and that's how much was paid. That includes a portion of the car insurance, like we have personal property insurance and our renter's insurance for that. And then life insurance was $20.13, and I've had this life insurance for a long time, so it's consistently $20.13. This is a term life policy. The gym was $26.11, and that was the amount that was paid. AAA was $17.07. And that's how much it was paid. And y'all already know, if you've seen my last video talking about my budget, I am loving AAA right now. So AAA can do me no wrong. We're going to continue paying that. HP Inc. I actually have it highlighted, and same for rent just because it was not the same. So HP Inc. was, I had it budgeted for $543. So HP Inc. is I have an HP computer. Instead of actually buying the ink, I pay monthly for HP Ink. I just feel like it's better for our situation. They actually monitor my ink, and when I need new ink, then they mail it to me. But I got a new computer back in March, the very beginning of March or the end of February. And I forgot, it had to be March because I paid in February. So I forgot that they were giving me 6 free months of HP Ink, so I didn't have to pay the HP Ink subscription costs. Then Compassion, this is a charity I donate to. It was $45. Audible is $14.95. Y'all, since I have been finished with my CPA and everything, I do realize I am back to kind of on my Audible tip. So I feel better about the subscription because, you know, I was feeling a little funny about that. And then Apple, I'm so confused with Apple right now, and we're going through so many changes. So I had $23.22, and that was for all our subscriptions, but it's really $24.74 when I sat down and actually like calculated after I did the budget. So I just left it there. So I had total budgeted $1,779.05. I actually spent $1,774.80. So I actually had an additional $425, which will stay in the bills account. Let's just head over to debt and we'll go to that other section at the end. All right, so with debt, even though there is a student loan pause right now, I do save my student loan payment so that I can make one large payment when it kicks back in, or figure out what's going on or if they really figure out what's going on, because when they know, we'll know, hopefully. Anyway, so $345 to student loan savings. My kid, I have a car that I'm paying for him. I budgeted to put $250 towards that car. I actually only put $225. You will find out why in a moment. Apple, I budgeted $22, but it was $22.04. This is for a gift that I bought that was no interest, so it's no interest. So I'm just paying on it. I'm still back and forth about if I'm just gonna pay it off. I do have the funds to do it. It's 0%, so I feel like anything extra I should just really just be using to put towards the car that I'm paying off. So there is that. And then the snowball, which was gonna go towards the car, did not happen this month. I budgeted on $500. You'll see why it did not happen in a moment. And then for some reason I had $595, which I realized after I created this budget. I was like, why nobody didn't tell me? None of y'all told me. But truthfully, the budget amount should have been $1,117. So the budget is completely off for this month, which is annoying for me as far as numbers wise. I know that's partly because I'm not doing like my complete budget that I normally do. We'll get that together. As I continue doing this, it'll be better. I actually spent $592.04 when it came to the debt category. So that's what actually happened, but we were budgeted for $1,117. All right, so lastly, variable expenses and sinking funds. So I didn't really contribute to a lot of sinking funds in April. That was the plan because I had a feeling we were going to have some additional expenses coming up that I was not including in here, and we did, but not what actually happened. So for personal, I budgeted $200, so that's my personal spending money that I can spend on whatever. But I actually spent $212.48. Yeah. So then for food, I have budgeted $200. This is the budget that like I contribute towards our food budget. My spouse contributes his own amount towards the food budget. I actually only spent $89.86. And part of that is because of the way that I do eat. I eat pretty healthy. When I'm eating on plan, I don't buy like a lot of like prepackaged food, things like that. And so that's why it was that for this month. It's not like this every month, but for most months, it's pretty low. So that's why it gave me a little room to spend a little over on personal. The kid, that is a sinking fund. I talk about kid sinking funds. I'll go ahead and link that video so you can check it out if you have a kid. But that's how much I threw into this kid sinking fund was $200 like I budgeted for. I am going to change that amount. And so I got to figure out what that's going to look like, but that amount is going to change. I'm trying to remember. That's sad. I should remember what happened on my May budget. But I think I may have left it the same on my May budget, but it is changing. Gas, I normally put $25 in a sinking fund for gas. It says $25. I know people who drive, especially in cities that are very, where you need to drive, right? You probably think that's not enough gas money, but I don't drive a lot and I don't have to drive very often. So I really don't pay for gas at this point. I put gas into my account where I actually purchase gas from because I might have to fill up the few times that I'm driving, but it's very rare. So that's why I don't put that much in gas because I rarely fill up. I probably have not put gas into a car. Truthfully, since January. I have not done that. So this time I didn't put any money towards gas. You see it coming up. Why? All right. So miscellaneous. I always put any extra money in miscellaneous. My miscellaneous was actually calculated wrong because debt was calculated wrong. So originally I had $240.95 for miscellaneous. But guess what? I have battery to the side. We had to replace a battery unexpectedly. So that battery cost $247.05. So we took some money from gas, We took some money from food and the snowball. This is why all this stuff is the way it is. So we took some money there. We covered that battery. Then that same vehicle ended up having to get brakes and rotors done. And so that was not expected. This vehicle is not included in our sinking funds right now. I'm going to move it into a sinking fund. There's reasons for that. I'll probably talk about it later. I'll probably do like a separate video of like how you make adjustments in your thinking. I'm thinking about that. Let me know if you want to see a video like that in the comments below. But we had to pay for all of that. Thank goodness we had a great mechanic who works on that particular car that we have. So it was less than if we took it to the dealer. So it was $961.73, and that was not in the budget. So hence where we were pulling money from other places to cover that cost. We also had to pull some money from a sinking fund that does auto, but not for that car. So we got to make some adjustments. And so I had budgeted $865.95 for variable expenses and sinking funds, and we spent $1,711.12. It is what it is now. I'm thankful that the money was there and I was able to shift things, and there's other income coming in to accommodate for that. But that's just reality that happened for us. So when we go look at my totals, let's just go ahead and swing to the totals. See, I'm trying to keep positive. The starting balance is the income, which it really was $3,600. Savings did go $360 because that happened beforehand. Bills, we spent $4.25 less than what we budgeted, so that was great. That is just going to sit in the bills account and be in there as a good buffer, because we need buffers. Variable, the variable was budgeted for that $865.95, and we spent a lot more than that. So we ended up spending $845.17 in variable expenses. So no comment. Debt, I went ahead and changed the debt on here, or we actually had an additional $524.96 left over that was allocated there originally, that shifted up to variable, of course. And looking at the total, originally I had the total as 0, right? Because we budget for every dollar, but remember my debt amount was incorrect. And so the total that I had budgeted really was $4,122. But actually I spent $4,437.96, which is still under my mental number. So that's where I have to kind of suck it up. Like, you spent under your number. Like, don't be upset. And then so we actually overspent. Well, originally it was $837.96. That's going off of the $3,600, but it only was $300 and some change. So not too bad. I was able to shift some money around, and we had it. It is what it is. It happens. I think it's funny that this happened in the first month that I was showing you my budget, but I'm kind of glad it happened so you can see how I adjust for it, and it can give you ideas of how you can adjust. I will say this stuff happened, I don't want to say the beginning of the month, but kind of like the second week, third week of the month. So we were able to make some adjustment there fairly quickly. And so that allowed us to kind of figure out what we were going to do. But that's why you also have sinking funds in place or an emergency fund in place. Even though I will say brakes and rotors, those are things that you expect to come up. Just with this vehicle, it was, I ain't gonna say I dropped the ball on it. I'm gonna say it's learning lessons. So there's some things with this vehicle, and maybe I'll add that into that other video when I make the adjustments, kind of talking about how this kind of happened. If you're wondering why I'm sharing my budget, or you're trying to figure out how it can help you, then go ahead and check out this video right here. That's going to tell you all the benefits of why you should budget and all the benefits of why you should analyze where you stand each and every month.